midnight dream, damnest thing you've ever seen. I like the likes of her. Where do I get me one of those girls? A farmer's daughter, homecoming queen, likes to fight, what a sweet little thing. She can drink iced tea, throw back a shot. Now there ain't much going, that girl ain't got.
I'm Bridget Holbrook, founder and president of Wildlife Women. I started Wildlife Women for 2 reasons. And if you guys have been following us, you know the main one was due to my daughter and her food allergies. She was born with very severe allergies to many different foods. However, we found at an early age that she could eat deer and elk and wild boar and really had great success with anything in the wild. At that point in time, her dad started hunting and was able to provide food for her. I became a single mom, and I also wanted to be able to provide food for her, which kind of leads to the second reason that Wildlife Women began. I had an enormous fear of guns. In the beginning, I decided when I was learning to hunt that I was going to become a bow hunter, only because of this fear of guns. I knew I had to provide for her, and I wanted to be able to do it myself, and I wanted to be able to do it alone, but I had to do it with a bow because of this fear of guns. I was very successful and very blessed to have many people help me along the way, friends and family, and I was able to harvest animals. And one year came and I wasn't able to get anything. And I knew that I was limiting myself a little bit with only being a bow hunter. So the second reason I started Wildlife Women was to learn how to shoot a gun. I quickly learned that I absolutely loved bow hunting. I'm completely happy shooting in my compound. It's very rewarding to actually kill an animal with a compound. I know there's all this controversy out there, which is better, a gun or a compound or a crossbow. But in my case, I got to feed my child. So I'm going to take whichever is going to get that meat on the table. So today we're doing the AR challenge, and I'm so excited about learning how to shoot this AR. At this point in Wildlife Women, I have shot a pistol, I've shot a couple different rifles, and I've been blessed to actually have a few firearms in my hand and successfully been able to shoot them. But I can't take them apart. I don't know all about the AR at all, and this is just part of my quest to overcome the fear of guns and to be comfortable shooting an AR. So Michelle Ralston sets up a table at Cabela's and is telling all the local people that come in all about Wildlife Women and what our goals are and what our mission is and what we're trying to do for women all across the state of Kentucky. And she runs across Griff, who is over the local League of Kentucky Sportsmen. And he'll be very proud of me that I said that correctly. Because normally I call it the KFC or the whatever. But anyway. So her and Griff get to talking. They went to high school together, and she's telling Griff all about our program. And he has just taken on supporting Wildlife Women and making sure we're making the right contacts and sharing our page and sharing our story and trying to get us out there and encouraging more people to join and making the right connection so that we can do what we need to do. Just so happened, Griff and John LaRoe, the Kentucky State Representative for the NRA, are friends on social media. And Griff introduces Wildlife Women to John, who in turn reaches out to me by phone. And after a 4-hour phone conversation, John and I decide that Wildlife Women needs this NRA challenge. When I say I had a fear of guns, I don't know that you guys can even get how bad that really was. I know some of my close friends knew. Of course, my family knew because there were several points in my life that I was so scared that it caused me a lot of problems in my relationships. And I was so afraid of guns that I could not be in the same room with one. Even if I knew it was unloaded, if I knew the safety was on, if I knew there wasn't even ammo in the house, I could not be in the same room. My heart would start pounding. I couldn't breathe. I would imagine the most horrible things would happen. to the point that I would be almost in a full-blown anxiety attack. So this was very important to me, to get comfortable with this AR, to get comfortable with a rifle, just in case something happened, that I could not pull back that bow and provide for my child. Plus, shooting not only a compound, but being able to shoot a rifle or another gun that would enable me to harvest an animal was going to help me to ensure that I could always provide for her, and hopefully teach her that someday she could provide for herself. So I'm really excited about today's AR challenge, and hopefully I will be successful.
Shoot like a boss.
Opening day is a finish line to a race that started months prior. A race consisting of dedication, determination, and preparation, resulting in blood, sweat, and anticipation. So when that moment of opportunity presents itself, you can draw peacefully, knowing your time, energy, and preparation started with Rackology. Everything you need, all in one bag.
Tucked in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, perfect for a quiet weekend getaway or a fun-filled group adventure, visit us at Big Branch Cabins. Bring your ATV for some beautiful, scenic mountain riding. Our small cabin sleeps up to 4 people, and the big cabin sleeps up to 10, with another cabin coming soon. So bring the entire family. There's tons of parking and plenty of room to enjoy the outdoors. Cook out, play cornhole, hike, fish, or simply relax. Come visit us at Big Branch Cabin Rentals, nestled in the heart of Knott County.
Wildlife Women has brought new things to me. I've been learning archery, some other things that I didn't know anything about, and now we get to go to an event that I'm so excited about because this is my little niche. This is something that I know about. I'm the gun girl in this group. I've always shot guns, so to be brought into an AR event, I'm so excited.
The first thing we do is John talks about the AR and the history of the AR, what its appropriate name is, where it came from, and all this really cool stuff that I had no idea about.
Fair enough, but someday maybe. You never know. But I mean, it's, and even for a guy, there's a magic that happens to you when that happens. So this generation has lost that because they're sitting playing Deer Hunter on their Xbox.
Yeah.
Woo, I'm going deer hunting. Yeah, you're making electrons move around.
I'm really excited because the NRA is co-hosting this event, and the NRA is wonderful with Wildlife Women. They support us so much, and they really understand that we want to learn and we want to be educated better with firearms and with the safety of firearms.
It really doesn't matter despite what the industry tries to tell you. But that is a very light, very fast bullet going out of that muzzle. The gun is relatively heavy, so it's going to dampen a lot of that perceived recoil. I was talking to, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Nancy. When the position I'm going to tell you when you shoot, you will actually put your nose up to this piece, which is called the charging handle, you'll actually put your nose up here. Even though that gun's going to recoil, it's not going to do anything to your nose. It sounds weird. Well, one of the problems women have a lot of times with rifles, with shotguns in particular, they're not sure how to hold it. So one of the things before we even go to the range we're going to talk about is how do you get up in a good firing position? How do you take a good stance? How do you go to the prone positions? We're going to shoot prone, kneeling, and standing today in different sequences. We've got a pretty extensive course of fire that we're going to shoot. So we're going to do that in here where we're not getting struck by lightning and all that stuff. I'm also going to teach you how to hold the firearm.
John LaRoe, who is the instructor for this class, gets up and starts talking to us all, and he informs us about where the AR came from and how it originated and where it was used. And of course, one question he did ask the class that I was probably the only one that answered, if I remember right, was, does anybody use an AR to hunt with? Me? Of course me.
Terrified? You're grinning. You must be happy. You might be more bang, bang, bang. So I would be somewhere in between. I don't compete mainly because I don't have time. So I would be somewhere in between probably. But you're looking for rapid, but not so fast that you lose your accuracy. So the way to do that is twofold. One is there's a concept called trigger manipulation. And let me use the other thing. I haven't used that trigger yet.
I have a quick question. Are we going to flag our guns when we're safe or?
No, we're not going to use trigger flags. Yeah. We're going to use we're going to be going fast enough that you really wouldn't have time to change the flag in between.
Right.
So what Carol was asking about, if you see on the pink rifle back there, there's a yellow flag sticking out of the chamber. That
And then we also take a break and do a lot of safety, appropriate how to handle it, what we need to do on the range, what we need to do if we get ourselves in trouble, making sure we're pointing in the right direction. So there's a lot of things to think about. But it was an excellent way to start, especially for those of us who, one, are scared or have never shot before, because those are things that most people take for granted. And he was just excellent at making sure that we were all really well educated on this AR.
the firing pin's going to drop right through to where it belongs. You kind of just shake it gently. Don't throw it across the room. Shake it gently. Put that pin back in. Now you can do this all day long. So that's it. We're assembled. You guys want to pass around the bolt carrier? You guys want to look at the bolt carrier group or anything? So, the step that everybody forgets, first, you put the charging handle. Yeah. Then, and it's got a U-shaped groove all the way along here. This gas tube actually fits down in that U-shaped groove. So what you do, and make sure, I'll show you what happens if you don't. If you don't have that bolt all the way through, put it down in the U-shaped groove, and it catches on that pin. You put it out, everything slides back nice and tidy, just like that. Close the dust cover if you feel so inclined. Then we'll move back to our lower. Put that buffer and buffer spring back in. You just line it up into the buffer tube. These have a flat side on them, which is there, and it just pops back in place. There's a process that you should follow with every firearm that you assemble or disassemble to make sure that you put it back together right, which is called a function check. You can do this with rifles, pistols, shotguns, machine guns, tank guns, I'm sure all kinds of other things. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that every function that firearm is supposed to do are still working now that you put it back together. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to rack it to make sure that it's cocked and ready to, quote, ready to fire. So we've now cocked this and placed it in a shootable capacity. Point it in a safe direction. With the safety on, once I get the safety on, you'll pull the trigger. It should not shoot. If you have the safety on and it shoots, we've identified a problem. A loud problem with a hole in your wall problem. You place it on semi. Press the trigger. You should hear a click. Notice I did not release the trigger because you're making sure that that's going to charge properly and still allow you to reset the trigger. Now you'll go for the click. It did. Rack it again, place it on safe. You've completed a function check.
I'm Tina Thornsberry, the owner and guide of Beaver Creek Outfitters in beautiful Knott County, Kentucky, the elk capital of the East. If you were lucky and you drew a tag to come hunt in Kentucky, give us a call at 606-369-6594. Let Justin, Ross, Brad, or myself help you fill your tag of a lifetime.
The X-Stand brand stands for something. It's something you can't put a price tag on, and it sets them apart from the rest of the industry. It was built from the ground up with a genuine work ethic that doesn't cut corners. X-Stand products are world-class and use hunt-safe technologies to go above and beyond normal safety standards. Just like the revolutionary technology of the Jaw safety system, X-Stand products stand for safety and quality. X-Stand. Simply smarter, simply safer.
Then he takes us over to the back part of the classroom and he lines us all up and he makes sure that everybody has an AR because he wants to show us the different positions that we're going to be using to shoot the AR out in the field.
Try not to have your head tilt. As best you can, you want your head vertical. You notice when I come down, I don't come down this way. Because that actually puts my right eyeball below the plane of the sights. So now I can't even use the sights. So you want to stay as vertical as possible, tighten your shoulder pocket. There's a nice, you see how that fits in there. There's deltoid here, there's whatever that muscle is here. And in between is a nice solid spot where there's bone they can push on. There's enough padding there that you don't have to worry about it. But that bone is going to keep that rifle from being able to accelerate your shoulder. So if you're going to take every bit of the recoil, instead of having it slap you, it's going to kind of just give you a push, a gentle push. So that's basically how you grip it. Your standing position, you want to be roughly shoulder width apart on your feet. Kind of, how many of y'all played sports? Anybody sports? You know how that sports stance, you're always up on your toes a little bit, got your knees slightly bent. You want to have that nice, we used to call, training we used to do, we call it a fighter stance, showing a boxer or karate. So you'd be in that fighter stance, and you're just going to come up, and that's what you want. Remember I said you want to own that rifle. You want to lean into it a little bit so that your body's best able to absorb the shots. If you're back here on your heels, that recoil is going to drive you backwards. Every time you shoot, you're going to continue bouncing backwards. I have had students, pistol students in particular, that I stood there with my hand behind their shoulders until they fell into me, because I watched it coming. So, once again, you own the gun, so own the gun, even if you borrow one. So that's your standing stance. If I'm way out here, one, it's uncomfortable, but you're pushing your knee into your tricep. But there's a nice little pocket right at the top of your elbow, right there, where you can get in and then just come in that way, and you're good to go. Just like that. All right? Any questions on standing or any other questions on standing?
Not till I try.
Not till you try it, everything falls apart, right? All right. Your next off is prone. Yeah, you can step back to one hand and bring it straight up into prone. You put your feet flat, you can bring your feet up, whatever you want to do, it doesn't really matter so much. But you want to have good firm control. And what you're doing also with your shoulder is you're rolling from here to here. The pocket still extends up there, so you find that pocket. See, when I'm here, in this pocket.
He goes over a safety class, basically, telling us everything that we should do, we shouldn't do, what we should do if something happens, and how we are supposed to be out on the range and hold our hand if we have a problem. Always point our rifle downrange, never point it. So it's a very, very good and extensive safety class.
Standing, I'm gonna come back through the line just on everybody, get a good standing position. What I gave you is textbook. If you need to modify it to be comfortable, modify it to be comfortable. What I want to make sure of is that you're able to get onto the sights, and we're adjusting the stocks and everything to where you need to be. We need to adjust your stock. I'm going to push that right there.
Short.
Now try to bring your nose down to the charging handle and look through that with your red eye.
No.
Again, you want to have a goal of being able to shoot with both eyes open. You always want to have this finger right under the It's
okay.
Bring your nose down to that, it's a little better. You see him going through the sights?
Yep.
And yours piercing.
You still can.
Being left-eyed on as I am, I feel like when I tried to hold both eyes open, I was missing the
You
side.
might have, your eyes may be fighting enough. I wouldn't try to change it today.
Don't change it, but practice changing it.
Practice.
And you said cock it a little to the left if you're
No,
trying.
I'm sorry, I should not have.
Oh, just pistol.
Yeah, that's the thing. Go down onto your left heel, or right heel, and bring the rifle to your knee.
No, making me giggle.
Oh, no. It's not mine, but the footprints on it.
So now we're ready to hit the field. I'm so excited because he has this course set up to where we're going to be shooting from different positions, prone, kneeling, standing, using barricades from different yardage. The class is designed to even have your magazines with different amounts of ammo. There were points that he wanted us changing ammo, changing magazines, and it was really, really cool and exciting.
Shoot like a boss. I'm getting up there now that Chaz has gone to Minnesota. I'm moving on up.
What's Chaz doing?
He moved. He's got a job.
My AR probably wasn't the right AR to use for an AR challenge because my AR was set up to deer hunt. Had a big Leupold scope on it, had it sighted in to kill a deer. And when we go out in the field, we are shooting in different positions. We're kneeling, we're using a barrel as like shooting from the side. We're shooting on the ground, we're standing. So it's different ways of shooting an AR because that's what this is an AR challenge. This is actually helping us and helping us realize different ways that you can do competitive shooting. So here I am trying to use this big Leupold scope of mine and shoot my AR.
Yeah. Well, it's your target. Miss?
And it starts clouding up outside. And of course, we don't care. We're just having a lot of fun and we're enjoying the time that all of us are spending together because we did have new ladies that we had never met that showed up to our AR challenge. And it was really nice to get to meet these ladies because one of them was a vet from the Marines. And man, was she tough. She knew all about the ARs and she was so happy to be around all of us ladies as we were with her and be able to talk about her dealings with using an AR and show us different things about them also. So it was really nice to get a lady's perspective on that.
Desiree, I'm an instructor for rifle, pistol, and shotgun. I'm a range safety officer. Taught men all my life, but I really love teaching and empowering women how to shoot. So this is a fantastic deal. Thanks so much.
So he lines us all up, and we've got a great turnout. This is probably one of our largest turnouts at any Wildlife Women event yet, which was very, very exciting. I know I always teach the girls, if you have one lady show up, then it's a success. That's one person that may not have ever hunted, may not have ever picked up a gun, may not have ever got outside or passed it along to their families.
2 after I hook you up. You are now hooked up. 3, close enough. 3, close enough. Over a 2. Where's your gun? Yeah.
I think we had about 15 girls show up that day, and we've had ladies drive from 3 and 4 hours away. We had some ex-military ladies. We had ladies that were from another organization that we came together, and we just made some great friends and bonded, and we just lined up, and we're ready to shoot.
Approximately 100 yards, and we'll correct it from there. Thank you.
Just one unloaded, right?
2.
You're not a nice man.
I hear that a lot. I'm not surprised by that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go at 100 yards. The first thing we're going to shoot is 2 shots standing, 2 shots kneeling, 2 shots prone, 2 shots kneeling, 2 shots standing. We're going to do a total of 10 rounds, 2 in each position down, 2 in each position up. Okay. On this side of you, and rest on that barrel is more stable than your hand will be, so you actually roll your hand up on top of it to shoot this way. Then again, I want you to shoot also side to side, because you're going to shoot both the left side and the right side of the barrels.
How am I going to do that with my front grip? I can't put my front grip on the barrel.
Sure you can. It's more stable than your hand is. On their way. Owning the gun. Get into it. Lean forward. Take that recoil. You're a shock absorber. Be a shock absorber. Let that gun, or don't let that gun control you. Make sure you maintain control of it. Pull it in.
So we're lined up and we're getting ready to go. And for those of us that are new to shooting, I feel like I've got all this stuff all over me. And I've got my earmuffs on and I've got these glasses and I'm not real comfortable. And lesson number 1 was you can't wear these hoop earrings with those earmuffs. It didn't work out so well.
Every shot for your 10-round magazine, you're loading your 10 round first. Every shot from this 10-round magazine is going to go in the bottom target, the black octagon. Yep, you're on the far right. Yep, we're good. All right. So all 10 of these shots are going to go in the bottom circle, which again is an octagon, but that's just me being weird. You're going to fire 2 shots standing, then go to kneeling. Remember, when you transition from position to position, stop me right now. Everybody shoulder your right.
So we're shooting, and I did pretty good at 100 yards. He moves us up each time we go a little bit closer to the target, and each time I seem to be getting better, so I'm pretty happy. We start getting into doing different positions, and he calls out prone or kneeling or barricade and shoot 4 shots this way and 4 shots that way, change your magazine and 8 shots this way, and each time gets a little faster.
No back. You haven't run empty yet. Oh, you're getting yeah. I'm shutting up. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take this. I'm going to go ahead and empty. Drop it back. And then you can show me quick.
So I need to put one back in.
Yeah, for what they're doing, they need to put one back in.
It's getting very, very exciting, and I'm loving it, and I'm shooting.
8 rounds, go! To top, to right.
I even hit the target at 100 yards. First time shooting an AR in the range today, so not so much considering I was aiming here. So let's hope we get better. And all the girls are just smiling, everybody's having a great time and congratulating each other and helping each other. And I look out and I think this is just a wonderful sight. To see all these ladies comfortable, no anxiety, everybody learning and just having an absolute blast.
Thacker Grigsby is constantly working to bring the latest technologies home. Home, where we live and work in this community, a place we want to see grow and prosper. Thacker Grigsby is committed to a Fiber to the Home project, which will bring every home and business in our service area fiber within a 5-year period. We're halfway there, but we won't stop until we reach our goal. And that's a big deal. We're committed to serving you and our community.
At your own speed. Go for it. Don't waste any time. Watch your trigger finger. Yep.
Oh, sorry.
That's the hard one.
I know.
Put the back of your hand. Put the back of your hand.
I can't shoot this.
This is Michelle, and I am the Fayette County chapter leader, and I just shot an AR at 100 yards, kneeling and on the barrel and behind a barricade, and it was awesome.
Yeah, roll your hand back up underneath.
We're shooting L10.
Use the barricade. Put your hand against the barricade to use that barricade is solid.
I see.
So if your hand is up against put your hand right up on here. That's a nice solid thing. There you go. Yep. saw.
We're about to get rained on.
Look at you all race trout. Yeah! I like that. That's fun. 5, 5, 5, go! Magazine change, drop it. Drop. Go to kneeling on your chain.
All right, it's Melissa here, and when we got here, it was pouring the rain, and as soon as I put my car into park, my car was shaking really bad, and I was running a little late because of the rain, and I was afraid that they'd already started the class, so I jump out in this big rainstorm and the wind blowing like crazy, and have to get in the trunk of my car to grab my AR and my range bag and whatever else I brought. And I'm running inside, and as soon as I get inside, I don't know if anybody got a picture, but my hair was all sideways and I was soaking wet. I just now got dried off.
Okay, drop your mag, reload transition.
I forgot to stay here.
Big button, yeah, there you go. Mag in.
We just okay with your camera, we can show. Okay.
Here's the knife.
Hey!
The more invisible I am, the more empowered you guys can be in selling this program to future participants.
Beautiful.
Take a few steps to the right.
Here we are doing this AR challenge, and right in the middle of it, soon after we got started probably, the clouds opened up and the rain started coming down. But do you think we minded? No, we just kept on shooting. And I think that John LaRoe, our instructor, got tickled at us because he thought that we would just throw the towel in and say, we need to get inside somewhere dry. But no, not us wildlife women. We just get wet with rain and keep on trucking.
So we've shot and shot and shot, and the rain was okay, but now it's starting to thunder and maybe even lightning. And John says, girls, I gotta call it. It's getting dark. We gotta be safe, and I want to kind of get you all together for a group picture, then let's go in and recap. So we did. We took our pictures. We got to see our targets. We got to look and compare to the other girls how well we were shooting, and everybody did a great job. I was so impressed with all the girls, and it was just a really great evening. So we load up all our gear and trying to keep everything as dry as possible and head back in to where we were taking our initial class. At this point, we realized just how wet we are. Some of us brought dry clothes and some of us didn't. So we're trying to figure out exactly how we're going to get home, what we're going to put on our car seats, and totally going to the bathroom and wringing out our clothes. We were absolutely drenched. Of course, we're drenched and we're inside now, so Melissa calls. It's the appropriate time for selfies. So all in all, today was a major success. Not just for Wildlife Women, but for me personally. I'm very pleased that I was able to shoot that AR and do it well and enjoy it. So I'm counting today as one of my favorite Wildlife Women classes ever.
We are soaked to the bone, underwear and everything. And we have got some dry clothes in the car that we're wanting to change into. So we get up to the house, and of course we're telling John LaRoe and the people from the range area how much we appreciate them and how much we loved it. And everybody's trying to get changed so that we can leave from that area and get back to our homes. Me, I never brought no dry clothes. I never had an idea that I was going to be soaked like that, and I guess I was just in too big of a fizz to get there that I didn't grab me any dry clothes. So I have to wear my drenched clothes all the way home. But do I care? No, because that event was one event that I enjoyed, and I'll say that about all of our events for Wildlife Women. But like I said, that event is kind of my knack, And I really had fun at that event, enjoyed, and I did learn things that I didn't know. And that's all that matters.
We overcame a lot of obstacles. My gallbladder attack, driving and people being late, clouds, rain, people having their own gun. But we bonded together, we made it through, and it was a fantastic event. And that was the beginning of an amazing partnership between Wildlife Women and the NRA. We have been very blessed with John LaRoe and all his instruction, and Chad Franklin and several members of the NRA. I can't say enough about how they have educated us on safety, have educated us on the different types of guns, and all the classes that we have planned in the future with them. My heart pours out just enormous gratitude for what they've done for us. We've also had just members of the NRA reach out and donate guns and ammo to our cause and to our mission. And to me, that's just an amazing thing to know that we didn't even exist a couple of years ago, and now we're walking and learning and partnering with the NRA. So after the NRA reached out to me and learned about my story and my fear of guns and Wildlife Women and what we're trying to do for other ladies in the state of Kentucky and nationwide, they actually have asked me to come and speak several times at their banquets, and I've been able to tell our story to hundreds of people who are reaching out to Wildlife Women, and it's just been really amazing. But my very first sentence is always, you guys would never believe that I'm standing here today in front of you with the fear that I had of guns just a couple years ago. And now I'm standing here speaking to the NRA. I never would have dreamed that's where I would be due to Wildlife Women.
Opening day is a finish line to a race that started months prior. A race consisting of dedication, determination, and preparation, resulting in blood, sweat, and anticipation. So when that moment of opportunity presents itself, you can draw peacefully, knowing your time, energy, and preparation started with Rackology. Everything you need, all in one bag.
I'm a grandma.
I am a mommy.
I am a photographer.
I am a stay-at-home mom.
I am a student.
I am a Kentucky Elk Guide.
I am a teacher.
I'm a biotech sales representative.
I am a human services supervisor.
I am a paralegal.
I am a meat producer.
I am a provider.
I am a high school job coach.
I am a healthcare worker.
I am Wildlife Women.
For more Wildlife Women adventures, tune in to Hometown 24 on YouTube.
Hey, it's James Sam with Kentucky Bugle Struts Outfitter. This is Brandon Thomas. We're the co-owners here at Kentucky Bugles and Struts. It's that time of year again. When it's a beautiful day here on one of our private properties we've got to hunt. It's probably got about 75,000 acres on it. And if you got the chance to hunt Kentucky elk this fall, woo! Man, are we excited. Give us a chance, give us a call. Talk to Brandon at 606-634-7640. He does all our booking. He does an outstanding job. Good luck. We hope to see you, but man, we're ready to make friends for life.
Bridget introduced me to John LaRoe, the Kentucky field rep for the NRA, and I went to one of their Friends of the NRA meetings to meet him. I reached out to the Northeastern Kentucky Fish and Game Club Association for a venue. The Dizarn Range was the perfect 100-yard range for this event. John was familiar with that range already, and he agreed. They were very helpful in getting the barricades that we needed to make the event successful. I quickly had 6 ladies become very interested in the event, and it was shaping up to be pretty popular among the ladies in the area. I had 2 girls come in from Moorhead College. Both had shot AR-15s before. I had another lady that was the organizer for the Friends of the NRA banquet. She came, and John's wife, Shawn, joined us as well. I'm not a huge AR-15 lover. I've had the gun in my closet for years. It's just never been a weapon that I've reached for either hunting purposes or just fun shooting. I'm looking forward to the event because I can learn more about the weapon and maybe fall in love with it. John LaRoe is adamant that after this event is over, I'll have to go purchase my own. John started off with a very informative class, breaking the weapon down, putting the weapon back together, giving us a little history on the weapon. I learned a lot during his talk, but I was anxious to get the gun in my hands and get out there and shoot some targets.
This iteration of the NRA's AR Challenge. What we're going to do today is give you all some more familiarity with the Armalite rifle. It is not automatic rifle. It is not assault rifle. It is Armalite rifle because the company that this design is actually patented through is the Armalite Corporation. So, however, these rifles are very modular because what I can do with the same rifle, with minor adjustments, I can convert it to where I'm ready to go kick indoors in Fallujah again. Maybe by switching out.
So we lined up some barrels on the range and we shot from different positions. We shot standing, we shot in lying down, we shot from each side of the barrel. We shot with our right hands, we shot with our left hands, which was incredibly awkward.
Load and chamber. Good right side barricade position. At your own pace. All that stuff I said. Fire. Change, get behind the barrel, then come out the other side.
My favorite part about the AR-15 challenge shoot was probably learning to hold the weapon correctly. John called me a rifle hunter for the entire event because I automatically held the AR-15 like I would my deer rifle, and that's incorrect. You're actually supposed to hold it in a different way than you do your deer rifle. So I did learn that. As the evening progressed, dark set in, and that was really the only thing that stopped us from shooting. All the girls seemed to really enjoy their time on the range. We all learned a lot, and by the end of the night, I was a lot more comfortable with an AR-15.
Remember, when you transition, have your finger off the trigger as you move, so you don't...
As the event ended, I had kind of started to like the AR-15. At this point, the only reason that I haven't purchased one of my own is because I can't decide which one I like. My biggest obstacle during this course was shooting left-handed. I'm right-handed, I'm right-eye dominant, so holding an AR-15, which I haven't held that much anyway, with my left hand and trying to do everything with my left hand was incredibly awkward. The instructor for this event, John LaRoe, has taught many of these courses over his career. This was the first time his wife, Shawn, had actually joined him for one of those events. It was so fun to watch her hold the weapon and learn about the weapon, taking the instruction from her husband. This was my first Wildlife Women chapter leader event. As it ended, I was so excited for my next event already. Seeing how much the other ladies enjoyed the event and how much we all learned together as a group really inspired me to create more and more educational events for ladies in the outdoors.
About a year ago, I heard about Wildlife Women and reached out to them to see if they might be eligible for some grant funding through the NRA Foundation. What I discovered in that single 45-minute phone call was not only that they're an amazing group of women that can't wait to get out and try new outdoor experiences, but we even set up a class a week later for me to go and run them through the NRA's AR Challenge program. A week later there in Wilmore, what I found was that these women are so passionate about the outdoors that the harder it rained and the muddier it got and the more they were rolling around in the gravel, shooting those courses of fire through that program, the happier they were, the bigger smiles on their faces. So, fantastic group of ladies. Can't wait to work with them some more, and looking forward to great success from them in the future as they take this national.
It's so hard to keep from saying so. I'm wanting to say so bad. So here I am at the event.